Hey guys, it's Matthew here once again, and I come before you today, a man that is living the dream, playing something that we wanted to mess around with and finally actually do for many, many years now, and that is Flame Dash Totems. It is supplemented, of course, by some Searing Bond action, and it comes together to make a pretty funky, pretty stupid build that somehow, by some miracle against all odds, works rather well. I will, however, start the video right now by saying you probably shouldn't copy this build, you probably shouldn't play it. I mean, it works, and here it is, and I'll show it to you, but there's better things you could be doing with your time. It's a lot of fun, but it's kind of shit to be playing because it's clunky, you're fairly slow with the setup that I've got. The totems are fairly awkward at a lot of times, and it doesn't really do anything better than any other build. It just, exists. It's a thing that you can do if you really choose to. I've had a lot of fun playing and coming up with this build personally because it's something that doesn't feel like it should do anything. So there was a lot of tinkering around with the idea. There was a lot of min-maxing and testing things out, and it's been an absolute bundle of fun watching it come together. And I think it's the very definition and spirit of Path of Exile. So in that sense, it's been amazing. But if you want to copy a build that's kind of good and plays well and all that, yeah, no, you came to the wrong place. Because it's pretty slow overall, and it can do things, but yeah, you can do things a lot better with some other builds. That said, let's jump into it. Flame Dash Totems. The idea to begin with was to play a Scion that can go the Hierophant and the Chieftain Ascendancy, which combo pretty well for Flame Dash Totems, and to front load our hits. So have Flame Dash hit really hard, and then dash around just one-shotting things. As I was leveling, it seemed apparent that scaling the burn damage and the ground damage over time would be a lot better because there's a lot more synergy in the other things you use as well. The gear, the passives, they end up just scaling a bit more synergistically, I think. And then you've also got Searing Bond, which attaches to each of your totems. That's that big fat green line. And then the totems dash around doing their own burn damage, which is pretty potent. It's something like 200,000 dot. And then dashing around spreading the Searing Bond, which does something like 500,000 or 600,000 damage, which is quite a bit larger on top of the Flame Dash. As well as that, you can set up a Scorching Ray totem, which helps for single target damage, and all of a sudden you got 3 totems that really work nicely together and just have a whole bunch of synergy. So for bosses, the build ends up being pretty fucking nice because there's just a lot of burn damage. They kind of take care of things on their own. They dash around and they just burn things quite effectively while you stand back and don't have to do anything. And I do highly recommend checking out the Uber Elder at the end of this video. It ends up being a few runs because I'm chasing the Deathless version, and it's quite fun. And well, you'll see it's actually fairly effective against the end game boss too. So you can see an example of me just running through the map. Since I am using the boots that lock your movement speed at 150%, and then I'm playing a totem build that has to dash around and stuff, there's nothing too fast about it. You're kind of just moving around at your own pace, but obliterating everything in your path. So it doesn't play the best, but it is super effective in the end, and it's going to be a huge challenge for you to level, I think, because it takes a lot of scaling with gear, with passives, with the right gem sockets, and figuring out to get to the stage that it's at right now. So the past 10 levels or so have been my best by far, like level 80 to 90. That's pretty much when the build has come together to be super smooth. Before that, it's pretty jank and doesn't entirely work a lot of the time. And as well as that, totems themselves, the Flame Dash totems, have really clunky and horrible AI. So if the enemy is somewhat near a wall or in some corridors or passageways, they're just going to sit there. They're not going to charge the enemy, and they won't do anything. That's where Searing Bond comes into play, so it does help quite a lot to get your damage out there. And if I was just playing pure Flame Dash totems with the initial hit, it'd be garbage playstyle. So Searing Bond helps a lot, Scorching Ray helps a lot, and not running the bad type of maps helps a lot. And then you can see in the end here that some bosses will be killing your totems quite routinely. so it does get a little annoying having to constantly spam and re-drop your totems, but that's kind of a totem problem, less of a flame dash totem problem. And we do fix our mana by just using a mana flask basically all of the time, because my mana regen is pretty shitty. And in the end, you got yourself some kind of a build that kind of does things and has some pretty potent burn damage. So maybe too much power creep, maybe the end game's too easy, maybe I'm just fucking incredible at making builds. I got no idea. It probably isn't the last thing because, well, I don't know. I feel like we're at the point where it's doable and lots of things are doable, but to what extent and how much better could you be doing something else? So I do want to jump into all of how I built this character, and then there's a big old Uber Elder thing at the end of this. So here is our character, currently level 90, called Want to Buy 100 Regret Orbs, and I think that's pretty self-explanatory, because yeah, the initial idea I really wasn't sold on. I was walking into this build fully expecting to fail my first build in a while, and well, it seems pretty hard to fail a build these days because hey, Flame Dash Totems, here we are. So the build was initially based around just trying to get Flame Dash as high level as possible because it scales off of cooldown recovery speed to be able to get lots of your totems in. Because the way the totems work are actually kind of interesting and kind of funky. When you have initially 3 charges of Flame Dash as per usual. When you use a totem, it uses up 1 of your charges. So to begin with, at best, you can spam your totems and get 3 totems down. But with enough cooldown recovery, you can place a 4th, a 5th, whatever, and you can keep placing totems, but it depends on how many Flame Dash charges you have. The totems themselves will also function like a Flame Dash. They will have 3 charges of Flame Dash. So every time you place a new totem, it's got 3 charges of Flame Dash that then recovers through its cooldown recovery. But if you place a new totem, it will, if it eliminates the old totem, it will recharge its charges back up to 3 immediately, so you can let them keep dashing around. And to give just a bit of an example of how this works, if you couldn't quite catch it through the videos, you place 1 totem and he's going to zip around as many times as he can until he doesn't have any charges left. So for example here, zip, 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 and then he'll, you know, if he hasn't got any charges left, he'll just stand there and do nothing. But my cooldown recovery at this point is pretty damn good, as you can see. It takes me pretty much less than a second, I think, to recover another Flame Dash, and that means that more often than not my charges are actually going to be up all of the time, and it takes a lot of work in the form of gem levels to get that happening. So I've got 124 cooldown recovery speed there. I've got these boots that have 75 increased cooldown recovery speed, and I've also got Dark Arts that's got another 30 cooldown recovery speed over here. So trying to stack as much of that as possible means that my Flame Dash is going to be up just about always, and I can always be putting down another totem because they're up pretty damn frequently. So that was the initial plan, and it just ended up making more sense to scale the burn damage. So you can see the initial damage is 15 to 23k, but it deals 170,000 fire damage per second as the ground dot. And then I've got Searing Bond, which deals quite a lot of damage as it's just an additional totem on top of the 3 totems I can currently place. So you place another one, and Searing Bond attaches to all of the totems and yourself. And Searing Bond is quite a more potent burn. It's got 520,000 tooltip compared to the 170 over here. And if you're looking at our actual path of building, I've got 440,000 Flame Dash with Ignite DPS of 100, so it's a bit over 500,000 damage from pure Flame Dash, and they're all zipping around, dropping lots of ground everywhere. But the Searing Bond itself is dealing quite a bit more. It's down here, and on a 5-link, it's 1.38 million damage. So combine that with the Scorching Ray, which also has its own fairly decent amount of damage once stacked up, you're looking at well over 2 million damage. of pure burn, but the Flame Dash is doing quite a lot of the clear, and then the Searing Bond is doing quite a lot of the help in between. You can see throughout some of the videos only putting down Flame Dash totems just to, see how it works by itself, and it's okay, it clears kind of well enough, but Searing Bond really does help quite a lot. And the links I've got in the end here are Flame Dash, and then most of the time I'm clearing with Ignite Proliferation, which isn't that good, but it does help a little bit of my initial Ignite from the Flame Dash to then proliferate. I've then got Combustion, Empower level 4 with this chest that makes it level 5, so that's why my Flame Dash is currently level 27, and then the Spell Totem support with Burn Damage. So I'm using 2 Scepters that have +1 Fire skill gems, and then if they can get anything else on them, that's cool, but for the most part you just want to craft Fire Dot Multi. It's very similar damage in the end to a Searing Touch, the staff that's basically completely worthless. It's almost exactly the same damage as this setup, and I did try it out, but I kind of want an extra slot for being able to put something in like Lightning Warp for my travel skill. If I had to use a Searing Touch, I couldn't use a Lightning Warp travel skill, and then it'd be just a little bit clunkier, but it is certainly an option. And then it also takes away the fact that you can use this, but that's not a big deal in our setup anymore. But I do want to use Lightning Warp because if you're trying to use Flame Dash, it shares a cooldown with your current Flame Dash. So every time you press this, you're going to be sharing a cooldown with the Flame Dash that you already have up. If you're going to try and use Dash, it shares a cooldown with Flame Dash. So every time you place a totem, there's a global cooldown activated that you can't use your Dash in. So it's just unplayable. If you try and use Smoke Mine, for some reason it shares a fucking cooldown with Flame Dash as well, so you can't have it on the same global. So in the end we're basically left with Lightning Warp or Leap Slam or some shit, and this is our best option, and it's not very good, but it helps every now and again, so it's what I have to do, because these boots lock your movement speed into 150% of its value, so you basically have 50 additional movement speed. As you can see here, you can't use a Quicksilver, you can't use Onslaught Flasks, nothing's going to help your movement speed. So that's kind of the finicky stuff out of the way of the build. You're then just basically scaling a damage over time, but fire-based build from there on out. So we have Malevolence, we've got Skitterbots that run around and shock and chill everything. We're running Herald of Ash, which just gives a bunch of extra damage to a few of our things, like Searing Bond, I think, and probably Flame Dash. Let me double check. 1/3. Okay, so it doesn't really help Flame Dash itself. It helps Searing Bond a lot, and also Scorching Ray, I believe. But it's pretty much one of the only ways we can really scale damage at this point for the rest of the character, so I had to use that with a Circle of Anguish and fit it in with the reduced buff effect. And I was pretty tight for sockets, so I had to put a Herald of Ash over here instead. You then got your Flammability, Ellie Weakness, Curse on Hit, and Stormbrand. So you're running around chucking Stormbrands, which keeps up your Elemental Overload over here, which is a huge multiplier for our damage, and then also has the purpose of double cursing enemies too. You then have Spell Totem, Ellie Focus, Scorching Ray, and Burn Damage down here. Scorching Ray is not even level 21 yet, because it's only a 19 with the 2 boosts, so it can do quite a bit more damage still. And then Efficacy, Control Distraction, Ellie Focus, and Searing Bond, which is a level 21, up in this gem slot here, which has a burning damage support to it because it's an Elder Helm. So I rolled this with Scorching Fossils until I got the -9 and the burn damage support, and that means I can have a 5 link over here and a 6 link over here as well. I then run Skitterbots, Malevolence, and Enlighten attached to one scepter, and Lesser Duration, Faster Casting, and Lightning Warp attached to another scepter. The rest of the gear, I guess, kind of speaks for itself. You're going for fire damage over time multi, and that scales our damage quite a lot. These are 6-link gloves that do nothing for us, so don't be fooled by that. And then my flasks are Cinder Swallow, because we do still ignite with our Flame Dash, so that is 10% increased damage. Sulfur, just a bit of extra regen and damage. Stibnite, just for well, I guess defensive purposes, and then this is all of our mana sustain in a flask, an enduring mana flask. As far as passive tree is concerned, we did go for Hierophant for the +1 totem and Perma Arcane Surge, and then Chieftain for the enemies covered in ash, which the Flame Dash and the Stormbrand should, for the most part, be triggering things with. More often than not, I think it's just going to be the Flame Dash though, and then the passive tree just goes around, picks up all of the good fire damage and fire damage multi, and a bit of aura reservation, and it's just a Scion, so you do get a lot of passives that way, a bit more than usual, and I've also got a Watcher's Eye with the Malevolence that does 21 damage over time multiplier. It's kind of a squishy character, 4.9k life, 800 ES, but it's a totem character, so I rarely die on it regardless because it's a very defensive playstyle. You just drop your totems, run around, run away, and the damage is huge. So I didn't go for any more life because I didn't really need it, and I was trying my best to make the damage and the playability of the character the main focus since it's fucking Flame Dash totems. It needs all the help it can get. So from this point, I will leave you with the Uber Elder video of me trying to get a deathless kill for my first actual Uber Elder kill on this character. It was pretty fun, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the video. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time. This is it. This is what the entirety of my Path of Exile existence has built up towards. Deathless Uber Elder on hardcore with Flame Dash totems using skill. Gaming sleeve. Man, I'm so fucking dead, you don't even know. Problem is I don't have like a quick juke to just, you know, shift out of things way, and you can't rely on Lightning Warp, so I never will. I just won't do it. So if some huge 12-inch cock is coming my direction, I have to just stand there and take it. And I have exactly enough life to get one shot by anything that touches me. I've got to resummon totems a lot, because they will be dying. My only saving grace is that I think my DPS is pretty good. Beautiful. So there it is. Let's go. Spoil and fester. Oh damn, we pushed him over already. That's good. And we pushed him over. Alright, I like where this is going.
I have nothing more to give.
Holy shit, I thought that was Shaper down there, but that was my Scorching Totem. For a very split second, my brain went, wait, how the fuck did Shaper get down there? And it made me panic. No! I'm not gonna be able to kill him, am I? He's gonna get some ground off. Yeah, he dropped ground, didn't he? Fuck. No. Ooh, Jesus. The Deeps is actually pretty potent. Didn't have the stuff down. Okay. Oop, he went for the totem attack. That's scumbag. No. Oh no! No! I couldn't dodge that anymore. I just couldn't. No! I don't want to do that again. That was so good, and it's not going to get any better. I can't. No, don't make me do it again, chat. Fuck! I have to do it again. This is fucking bullshit. That was a clean and, like, lucky run, honestly. We were pretty lucky with a lot of the stuff that happened. I can only imagine it's gonna be worse. Ah, man. I was so close, but as soon as I got slapped that first time, it was over, because I couldn't escape the second slap. I think I'll be a little better off this time though, because now I've got the play style down. I wasn't putting enough totems down before. Should be doing it better now. In theory.
Gaze to the abyss. Embrace my mission.
Okay, pushed them over real well. Haven't taken any damage yet, have I? Which is where I want to be. Flavor country. Still good. Still good, okay. That was good.
More to give.
Pushed him over. No, I took a bit of damage. No! Dude, are you fucking kidding me? I had to get around the corner there. I was trying to swoop my whoop around the corner, but I fucking needed to warp instead of running. God, that was going so fucking well again. It's so bullshit. And I'm busting for a piss. Like, so bad. I gotta do this. I just wanted to get a quick run in. And then it would have been fine. God, that was going amazingly well, honestly. Okay, that went pretty well again. We got a good push. He blinked right as he went out of immunity. So I didn't get a good pre-fire on him at all. No! Okay. I wanted to try and get towards the other thing. Fucking hell, dude. I debated myself again. I thought I was getting shaper beamed. I need to remove the MTX for this fight. Yeah, it's literally pay to lose. I saw the Shaper go up, well aware that that's what happened, but then I got beamed and I was like panicking and wanted to try and move. Oh god, did I fuck it up? Maybe. Easy does it, boys. Let's just focus. How's Shaper not dead? What the fuck? got slowed and a slam was coming for me. I got out of it in time. And it's a deathless first try! God damn. Strong build. Would recommend. But seriously, will not be recommending. And we got one of these and one of these. Not bad. I mean, as far as a Flame Dash, Searing Bond totem build is concerned, I'd say that went really, really well.